Hello everybody, welcome back to another football kit video. In today's video, we're going to be going through every single Premier League away kit now that I'm pretty sure everyone's released now. So yeah, of course I've already done the home kit, so go watch that one, but I think we should just get quickly into it. Of course we're going to be doing it the same as last video, so we're going to be going from 20th to 1st, then 20th, and I've gone with Newcastle, which is really weird because in the home kits, their kit was I think 2nd, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, this looks like a goalkeeper kit in my opinion. It's probably that green colour, but it's like they haven't really done much with the template. They've just used white, and it just doesn't really work out. When I saw this kit leaked, I was like, oh, it doesn't. There's nothing that really jumps out at me. I don't really know what the pattern means, but it's another one that you'd probably see on a goalkeeper kit anyway. But there's really not much to talk about this kit because it's just really boring and basic, so it's going last. Another surprising one, and again another one that looks like a goalkeeper kit, and that is of course Wolves away kit. This is another goalkeeper looking kit. Goalkeeper kits are usually bright colours, really simple, usually only 2 colours, and it's the exact same thing. The only reason I put this over the Newcastle one because I do actually quite like the colour, and I also quite like the pattern. I like the wolf badge kind of makes that kind of weird pattern around it. I quite like that, but apart from that, it's just another goalkeeper kit. It's really boring, so let's move on. And the last team to slip into the relegation zone, and it is Everton's away kit. I think this kit hasn't done anything necessarily wrong. I just don't really like the blend of colours, and it's just a bit basic, I think the pattern on the sleeve cuffs is really the only thing going for it. Although I do quite like how they use navy as like a kind of secondary colour. I think that does work quite nicely. But apart from that, it's quite boring. I don't mind the polo collar, but it's just you can't really see it that much. So yeah, it's just 18th place. Crystal Palace up next, and again, it's just a really weird kind of colour scheme. I don't know why they've gone for this kind of like brown, kind of caramel colour almost. I don't really like the stripes in it. I don't like it brown on brown, although to be honest, there is another brown on brown kit, which is a lot higher up, so stay tuned for that. But I don't know why, I just don't think this kit really works in my opinion. It looks a bit weird, and I quite like the badge though. I like how it's just the eagle for the badge, but their name is Crystal Palace after all, so a bit weird, but it's going here just outside the relegation zone because it's a bit classy at least. So surprise, surprise, Brighton has a boring kit just like their home kit. I think it's pretty much in the same exact spot. I'm not sure how much different, but I quite like the colours on this. That's the only thing I can probably give it, is that they're nice kind of colours. They're lilac and like a bit of a lighter lilac, to be honest. The stripe down the middle, I like how the badge is kind of blacked out, but it's just really boring, isn't it? I think there's nothing really to write home about apart from that stripe, and it's not really that much, is it? So, and again, the American Express, I don't really like how it crosses over, but it's nothing wrong, but it's just really boring again. So yeah. Moving on, and we have Burnley, which is, again, it's pretty much like the same as the home kit. It's just a really weird kind of pattern. Gone with a sky blue base and this weird kind of like cloud pattern almost. It's just like white, weird kind of patterns all over. It kind of looks like fur, which is a bit weird. But I quite like the badge, how they've kind of like inverted that, and it's not too bad, but it's just I don't really like the pattern, and there's just lots better than it anyway, so it's going here. Moving on to 14th now, and I've gone with Fulham, which is I think was released earlier at the time of recordings, but it's a fine kit. To be honest, originally I had this in, I think it was 18th or something, but I really like this kit actually. It's not, of course there's better kits why it's from 14th, but I quite like the colour. I quite like the polo collar, which, and the badge. I think the badge is definitely the main bit about it. It's just, the badge doesn't really work with the rest of the kit, I think if the badge worked on a bit more of a classier away kit, it would have looked even a lot better. But this one, I like the colours, I like the badge, but they didn't really work well together. So yeah, let's move on to 13th then. Moving on to 13th now, and we've got West Ham, which is a pretty nice kit, to be honest. I think it's a lot better than their home kit. They've gone with this kind of like off-white base, nice kind of thick black collar and sleeve cuffs, and then of course got that nice bit of claret and white in it. That's really nice. I also quite like the badge. Again, it's not really done anything wrong, but I do quite like the collar, and I think it just kind of stands out a bit for me. But apart from that, it's quite boring. So yeah, let's move on to 12th. Moving on now, and we have Aston Villa. I think this is one of the earliest ones to be released. I think they used it in their last season, even I think it was the last game or whatever. But I don't really like this kit. I think it's a lot better than the kits we've had before, just because, there's a bit more built up and stuff. But the design-wise, I think it's really overrated, in my opinion. I do quite like the black and white. I like the bit of sky blue in it, but the collars is not very nice. But it's a lot better than the other ones that we've had so far. So it's going in 12th, I think it was. Yeah, I don't want to back myself up on that one. But yeah, let's move on. All right, this one might be one of my most controversial ones yet, but it's the Bournemouth I've actually gone with. This kit looks exactly like last season's kit, but just with some different colours. But I really, really like this kit, actually. I like this. I like the blue base, of course. I like the black stripes, really into Milan, but I really, really like that kind of neon kind of cyan just running through it. That looks so nice in my opinion. Like I've already said, really, really controversial, but I think this is a really nice kit. But let's move on now. Sorry for interrupting, but I would just ask one quick favour, and that is if you could subscribe. I'm really trying to push this channel at the moment, and I've released quite a lot of good quality videos in the last couple of weeks or so, but I would really like you to subscribe. I think the content is getting really better, and I'm trying to push this little extra video out just because I'm going on holiday next week, and I'm going to do a video on that. So if there's anything messing up in the schedule, then, you know, I'm just telling you here and now. But anyway, please go back to the video, but just remember to subscribe. Thank you. Bye. Kicking off the top 10 now, we have Liverpool's away kit, which has again been leaked for ages now. But I think it's a bit underwhelming. I think it is a lot better than the ones we had so far. Of course, that's why it's here. But I think, you know, they're just really using that template to advantage. I think the badge looks a lot worse than it was leaked. I think the Liverpool, like the actual Liverpool badge, looks just like so tight in that badge, and I think just give it a bit more space. But again, it's nice. I like the colours. I think the off-white is really nice, and overall it just works really well. Really nice start for Liverpool and Adidas for away kits. Moving on to 9th now, and I've gone with Leeds actually, which is, you know, I think it's a really nice kit. Going from last season's kit, which literally, if I did a championship away kit ranking, that would be number 1, I think. But this is still a really nice kit. Of course, a blue base, bit of yellow. I think if we had that kit, oh, it'd be so good. Bring back the yellow. But anyway, I really like this kit. I think it works really, really well, and the pattern's a bit jarring, just the stripes going throughout it, a bit of a glossy look, but I really like it. Works really well with the colours, and overall, it's a really solid kit. So let's move on. Sorry for the not very good picture, but it's the only one I can find actually. But Notts Forest is up next in 8th, and it's a really nice kit. Originally, I had this actually quite low down just how simple it was. But when I pressed on the full image, I was like, oh, such a nice kit. It's just a plain white t-shirt, but then they've got this really nice kind of intricate pattern in the base. They've also brought it onto the sleeves, and I think it just works really, really nice. It's really nice, clean, formal, kind of fancy-looking kit, so that's why it's here. Moving on to 7th now, and we have Spurs away kit. Of course, they're away kits, aren't they? This one has been, I think, released ages ago, but it's a really nice kit. You know, I think the black works with then the kind of grid pattern working throughout, and the kind of like greyish silver badges. I think this one is a bit overhyped, but it's still pretty good. I think it's just slightly overrated, but I still quite like it. I think it works really nicely. It's a real nice kind of futuristic kind of vibe, really kind of modern-esque to it. So yeah, that's why it's here. Moving on to 6th place now, and we have Man United away kit. Again, it's of course away kit, but of course this is inspired by their Snowflake kit from, you know, whenever it was. But this is a really nice kit. I think, you know, they're taking a bit of a different look on it. They've made it purple rather than blue, which I think is quite nice. I quite like that dark purple kind of colour that is used for the badges and the other things, and of course the pattern's a bit more zoomed in, which I think is really nice, and I think just really works. They're doing really well at like kind of doing throwback kits, and of course their 3rd kit I think has been released now. But anyway, this is a really nice kit, and that's why it's here. Moving into the top 5 now, and we have Arsenal. You know, this kit, of course, and its long-awaited debut. Of course, it's been leaked for ages now. To be honest, I did kind of prefer it before with a bit of yellow in it, but this is really nice. I think this is definitely the best iteration of the kit apart from the original kit. But yeah, I think it works really nicely. It's got that kind of pattern. I don't really like how it's just the same pattern but flipped on either side. I think that's a bit off. I like the silver badge, and I also quite like the red on the side. I think it just works really, really nicely. So yeah, really nice throwback. So let's move on. As soon as this kit was leaked, I knew it was going to be special, and it is. I think it's the Chelsea away kit. This is so nice in my opinion. I think it's that white base with the kind of the 2 coloured stripes going down the slide, and I also really, really like those sleeve cuffs as well. It just works really nicely. I also really like how they've made the badges like that colour. I think the Chelsea badge looks really nice in those kind of like green and red colour scheme. And of course, they wore it quite a lot in the Club World Cup, which of course they won. But yeah, again, it's a really, really nice kit, and I think it just works really, really well. So let's move on to the next one. 3rd place now, and we have Sunderland, which I think is a really nice kit. This has, of course, been again released or leaked or whatever for a very long time as well. I think it's really nice. I really like checkers on kits, and I think this one works really nicely. Compared to the home kit, it's just so much better, isn't it? The blue works really nice. The sponsor isn't amazing. I like the collar, I like the kind of red accents on the chevrons on the side. It's a really nice kit. It's in my book, so of course 3rd place. I also really like the pattern, the checkers as well. That works really nicely. So yeah, let's move on to 2nd. Going from last place to 2nd place now, we have Brentford. I've talked already about how I didn't really like the Everton one. I think it was maybe a different kit, but because of the brown. But this is a really nice kit, isn't it? They've gone with a brown base with the gold accents, and I really like that it's just to be. Of course, it's got a polo collar as well. The only thing I don't really like about this kit, how it kind of blends in with the players, you know, but whatever. But I think it's really nice. Of course, that sponsor's not amazing, but everything else is just amazing, isn't it? With the gold and the little pattern in the base. I think it's inspired by like beehives, which I think is really cool. But yeah, let's move on. If you're smart enough to work it out now, and first place is Manchester City, which is quite saddening to say because I don't really like Manchester City. But this is just a really nice kit, isn't it? They've gone with that black base mixed in with like those actual silver badges. They're not just like grey. They're actually silver, which looks so nice. And I think it's really nice because they're nice in 3D as well. And it just looks so class, doesn't it? It's, you know, so simple, but it works so nicely. And again, it's a really nice big step up from their home kit, and this just works so nicely, doesn't it? Thank you so much for watching today's video. Again, it's a bit kind of fast paced. I think it's like been like half a minute for each kit or whatever. But again, I think I've got hopefully a video out coming next week from Montenegro. I think I've just revealed it, but whatever. It's going to be not just like a whole video like I did with Berlin. I think it's just going to be a football match. So yeah, I'm quite excited about that. So just stay tuned for that. And if there isn't a video that comes out next week, it'll be the week after that. So if I do miss an upload for next week, this is for it, if you know what I mean. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.